ఐటీ సర్వ్ సినర్జీ 2019 సదస్సు అమెరికాలోని చికాగోలో ఘనంగా జరిగింది. ఐటీ సర్వ్ అలియన్స్ వార్షిక సమావేశంలో అమెరికాలోని ఐటీ కంపెనీలకు చెందిన వందలాది మంది సీఈఓలు, ప్రతినిధులు పాల్గొని పలు అంశాలపై చర్చించారు. ఈ సమావేశానికి లూసియానా సెనేటర్ జాన్ కెనడీ ముఖ్య అతిథిగా హాజరై ప్రసంగించారు. ఈ సందర్భంగా ఆయన టీవీ5తో పలు అంశాలను పంచుకున్నారు. జాన్ కెనడీతో చికాగో నుంచి మా నార్త్ అమెరికా టీవీ5 సీఈఓ శ్రీధర్ చిల్లరా ఫేస్ టు ఫేస్.
Synergy conference is happening in Chicago. As part of it, our team is here, and it happened to be we met Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana State. And hello, Senator Kennedy, how are you, sir?
I am well. I'm learning a lot at the conference.
Yes. And also we say that today is the IT Serve. There are a lot of literally like around 2,000 CEOs. They conglomerated and formed this organization. They're the backbone of the country, especially the small, medium-sized companies. And it happened to be you had an opportunity of understanding their problems and other thing. So when my own people, the Republican Party, people who want to support, especially these small medium company owners who are pro-Republican Party because of the tax advantage or creating the employment, now they have a lot of, as they explained to you, there are a lot of procedural formalities where the end result is uncertainty. So now if you look at that, the government side, the Trump administration, the lesser of the bureaucracy is the more productivity. So what is this controversy of our own, Trump administration versus the agencies that they're doing?
It is, and I learned a lot today. There's good news and bad news. The good news is that many of our small IT companies are extraordinary successes. I mean, they're contributing mightily to the boom in our economy. But it's a double-edged sword. The bad news is they can't find workers.
Yes.
Now, in an ironic way, that's a nice problem to have because that means the economy's doing real well. But while you're happy that the economy's doing well, you still got to grow your company. Washington, D.C., the United States Congress specifically, has not done a very good job of addressing that. We just haven't. And the reason is because instead of, well, there are a number of reasons, but instead of members of the Senate, for example, sitting down and talking rationally about how to design an immigration system that looks like somebody designed it on purpose, what happens is too many people, decision makers, policy makers in Washington are not making a distinction between legal immigration and illegal immigration. Now, we clearly have a problem with illegal immigration. It's gotten better. It's along the southern border. The problem originates in the Northern Triangle countries, our neighbors in El Salvador, for example, and Guatemala coming through Mexico. But that has consumed in Washington most of the energy and the time and the debate and the discussion, and frankly, most of the money when you talk about immigration. But there's another part of immigration which I think has been not ignored, but hasn't given the consideration that it should, and that's legal immigration.
Yes.
We as Americans, we welcome about 1 million people a year to come to America from all across the world. About 1 in 7 Americans were not born here. And you want to be fair and try to admit as many of your world's neighbors as you can to come to your country, but at the same time you also want to grow your economy.
Yes.
And that means that many of the immigrants that you want to invite into your country, not all of them, but many of them need to be skilled workers to do many of the jobs that are being created by many of the chief executive officers that I've met today. You don't just walk in off the street and start doing it. I mean, these are highly skilled positions. And the challenge we've got in the Congress is how to design a system that makes sure that we protect American workers, but at the same time we want to have a diverse economy, and we want to have people from across the world come to America, but we also want to have skilled workers come to America.
Yes.
And there's not been, I can tell you, there's not been, all the discussion in Washington has been on the illegal side.
Yes. Even they support the DALCA.
And what we also, I'm not saying that we shouldn't spend a lot of time and effort there, because it's a huge problem.
Yes.
At one point, we had as many as 4,500 people coming into our country illegally. But we also need to have a debate and a discussion in Washington about our legal immigration system and how it fits in with the economy.
Yes.
I don't think you want to have a rule where you say only people with PhDs can come to America, and nobody else can. But at the same time, I want to make sure that we have enough PhDs coming to America
Yes.
to satisfy our business needs if we don't have them right here now. And it's a tough issue. But the only way we're going to solve it is spend the time on it.
Yes. I also see there is a potential threat is going to happen. You said that the country's economy is very good. I feel that we feel that it's only right now what we see, because the way the country's talent right now, if it is stopped, if you look at that America, they became very popular because of the technology base. Look at Apple, look at Windows, look at so many things, technology base. If you are stopping that technology being developed in the United States, once the companies, they see that, hey, my job is getting done efficiently, and with like 10% of the price or 20% of the price, why don't I outsource all other departments also if there is a possibility? Now look at the Trump, that Michigan thing, port. End of the day, he has to really give the incentives. Instead of getting into really taking measures when totally is burnt situation, why don't we think wise before we lose that upper hand in the technological as well as job source?
Well,
What do
you make some good points. I mean, we've lost a lot of jobs in America to outsourcing. Now, if a businessman or a businesswoman can satisfy a need in a cheaper way, a rational capitalist, let's say it's cheaper to outsource it to Indian workers,
Yes.
to India, than do it in the United States. A lot of businesses are going to do that because through technology, the world has become smaller. And as a matter of efficiency, that can be a good thing. But the problem we have in America, and I think part of the reason we have so many people that are angry, is because the economy, the economy is now global.
Yes.
And many of our jobs have been sent overseas.
Yes.
And it's a very complicated situation. And you've got to have the right balance between, in terms of addressing that problem through immigration, you've got to have the right balance in terms of how many folks do we want to welcome to America every year?
Yes.
What is their skill level?
Yes.
Do we, I'm not saying we definitely should, but do we want to go to a pure meritocracy like Canada does? Do we want to continue to have as a big factor whether you already have family members here?
Yes.
You know, what's the annual quota?
Got it, sir.
Should that quota change as your economy gets better? Part of the reason that we have so many, and I'm flattered, we have so many people across the world, skilled and unskilled, that want to come to America now, is because our economy's doing well, and in other countries their economies aren't. It's certainly going to be the biggest country in the world. It's already the largest democracy.
Do you think that is it a good idea that the companies, the big corporations who are trying to outsource, if we find out instead of tightening these nuts and bolts of the small companies, if you really question them, those big companies, why are you outsourcing? Maybe you will come to know the real reasons, and then you can stop bleeding that, so that way like our country's economy will be more stronger.
Look, you make a very valid point. But this much I know. We're not going to solve all these problems
Yes.
unless we, the policymakers in Washington, do two things. First, we've got to listen. We've got to understand the problem. We've got to have an agreed upon set of facts. And then number two, we've got to try to put aside as much as we can in D.C. our politics. Forget about for a while being a Republican or a Democrat and just try to solve the common problem. And number three, we got to spend the time on it. And we just haven't spent the time because all of the effort, all of the discussion when the subject of immigration comes up, not all, but most of it, is always focused on how do we fix the southern border. And that's only a part of the immigration equation.
They're talking about the southern border is not that merit-based immigration. They're all sort of like a crossing.
No, that's a whole different problem
Yes.
from legal immigration and what I would like to see us do at some point is sit down and say, look, here's our legal immigration system.
Yes.
What's working? What's not working? How would we change? If we were starting over,
Yes.
what would we do differently?
Got
Now, one of the ways to do that in a shortcut is to look around the world and say, well, what countries have an immigration system that seems to be working better than ours?
Yes, got it. Thank you, Senator. Thank you very much for your
you.
time.
Enjoyed
We are
talking to you,
yes,
sir.
thank you, sir. Thank you. So this is Sridhar Chillara, and we came for 5th conference of Synergy 2019, and signing off. Thank you so much.